Hello, everybody. Let's get this started off the right way. Denver sucks in the chat. I want to see just a whole line of it right there. So we've got a salt-free, maybe Q&A here. Of course, it will ultimately depend on the viewers and the chat. I'm going to do my best not to get too salty today. If it happens, it's my show. What are you going to do about it? Anyway, yeah. So before you ask a question, have you watched these two videos, the Earth disaster video and the solar micronova video? They are linked in the description box right below the video. They are the homework. I can remember in law school, it was obvious when somebody didn't do the homework, but they wanted to run their mouth in class anyway, and the professor would absolutely make them look stupid. I had a couple classes in undergraduate like that as well. I actually wish my meteorology classes were like that, but the professors were just so nice. Yeah, so make sure you've done this homework. Make sure you've done the homework. Roos, I see that you've been following me on Twitter. The ET experience will just be on Twitter. I'm not putting that one on YouTube. Undercover Bird, hello. How you doing? In addition to wanting you to have done the homework if you plan to ask any questions, not talking about Yellowstone. It's broken. It cannot explosively erupt at this time. It can only effusively erupt. It is not as scary as whatever the heck made you think it is. None of these location-based questions. I live in this specific part of the world. What about this? What about me, my specific part? No. I'm not going to stop the whole thing and either look up where that part of the world is so I can do a quick analysis or no, that's not happening. Undercover Bird, thank you for the teal pair. And last but not least, do not forget the number one rule. Denver sucks. Denver sucks. So, anyway. Whew. So, how's everybody doing? What questions do we have? Hello, Melanie. Thank you for the support. Let's see. All right. Somebody says, real question. Let's just get going right here. During the Nova impact, you recommend being at least 1 foot underground. What if that's not an option since I'm in snow? How would an igloo or snow-covered shelter work? In theory, that could work. If you try to pull that off and you're directly facing the Nova is going to melt that. In general, no, you don't need to be that far underground. And just because you live in a snowy area doesn't mean you can't get underground. It'd be a little bit harder to dig, but yeah. Crazy Scott, thank you for the teal pair. Makes me happy. DJ Dan asks, are volcanoes all around the world waking up? Is this related to solar maximum? Well, the second part is no, because the answer to the first one is no. We are still at below average volcanic emissions. At any given time, on average over the last century, there have been 100 submarine volcanoes and 20 to 45 terrestrial above the ocean volcanoes going off in some form or fashion on average. Last several years, close to a decade, it's only been about 10 to 20 above ground volcanoes. Nope, Tonga did not put a dent in the low volcanic emission that we've been seeing. We are not seeing a global uptick in volcanoes. I don't care what you heard on the internet. I've been tracking this for a while. I have all of the data. And no, we are still way, way below average in terms of volcanoes. Scrolling. Do I think that the current solar flip will affect the upcoming Earth pole shift? No, not at all. If you missed the videos I did on this last year, the sun's magnetic flip happens every 11 years, and it is what triggers sunspot maximum. It is not related to what's happening right now in terms of the long-term Earth geomagnetic excursion. It's not at all related to the Earth tilt. The sun's polar flip is the 11-year sunspot cycle. So no, it is not related. Is there any possibility the weakening magnetosphere could lead to a general buildup of electrical energy and reach a point that it overloads the grid, i.e. not one kill shot? Maybe. I haven't seen anybody try to model that. If it gets that bad, I would have a tough time seeing it getting that bad. It would take at least some kind of nudge from the sun. That's an interesting question, though. How effective is a cloudy day from exposure of a solar event? 0. It's not a direct line of sight. When there's a solar flare, you don't need to run inside your house. When we get a geomagnetic storm, that also is not a direct line of sight. It is an induction. It doesn't care if there are clouds over your head. It doesn't care if you are standing outside. It doesn't matter if you are sleeping in your bed. The electric current is induced in all of the layers below. There's no hiding from that. But also, it's not really what you need to hide from. So yeah. Real question, can you talk about the South Atlantic anomaly? Is the shift an early move of the South Pole to its new location, as you have pointed out? So I wouldn't say it's a shift to the new location of the South Pole. Right now, it is the weakest point on Earth in terms of the Earth's magnetic field, because it is the point on Earth from which both magnetic poles are moving away. So like the North Magnetic Pole is moving northward, or I guess it's no longer moving north, it's now moving south. It has blown past the actual geographic North Pole and is moving towards Siberia. The South Magnetic Pole is moving past Australia towards the Indian Ocean. And you realize when they're on a collision course like that, they're both moving away from a specific point. The point they're moving away from is the South Atlantic anomaly. And since magnetism power falls off 1 over R3 distance, that's why the South Atlantic anomaly is so weak. I will be mentioning a little something about the South Atlantic anomaly in tomorrow's morning show. Not that you guys are going to miss it, of course. But, yeah, tomorrow morning show, South Atlantic anomaly. How do the earthquakes line up with the energy coming on through the poles from the sun? They don't line up like that. You mean like line up geographically, like where they're striking in the world? That doesn't happen. If you're talking about in terms of how do they line up in time, I'll mention before, as I've mentioned before, the coronal holes completely modulate moderate seismicity, and the biggest earthquakes of all are very much dependent on the solar polar magnetic fields. What do I think about the electric universe theory? Okay, I guess I'll do this again. So, there's a very good chance the only reason you've ever heard about the electric universe theory is me. The Thunderbolts had 200 followers on YouTube, and their largest ever conference had like 60-something people. And then they brought me in 2013, sold out in 2014, sold out in 2015. And through my promotion, they all of a sudden had tens of thousands of people. There's a lot of stuff that they say that has value. However, most of it comes from plasma cosmology, which is wholly from Dr. Anthony Peratt. A little bit of a spiritual difference between myself and the Thunderbolts arose, and I don't speak to them anymore. The there was a time when they wanted me to join their inner circle. And before I did that, I was required to read a book called A Treatise on Cosmic Fire by Alice Bailey, and really take it to heart and believe in it. And then I figured out through some research that Alice Bailey was the world's #1 female Satanist before Maria Abramovitz. So yeah, no, the Thunderbolts and I don't speak to each other much anymore. The Electric Universe does have some good stuff going on with them, but a lot of it is actually from Dr. Peratt. All right. That lasted a while. All right. Is it possible we could see a lot of sunken megalithic ruins surface from beneath the ocean after the polar magnetic reversal? Yes, absolutely. Land will rise, land will fall. And I imagine some of the coastal ones in Antarctica will be visible. Melinda Lou, thank you for the teal pair. Always makes me happy. Fire Dog, before you ask your questions, no acronyms, no locations, no Denver, no hair dye. Do your daggum homework or just don't bother asking. I like that, Fire Dog. Thank you. Laura Garwood, thank you for the teal pair. Appreciate that. Just making sure I didn't miss any here. My God, I'm bad at scrolling. Could the real Earth disaster be put to the same causes as the fake COVID scare by mainstream? I do see a subtle shift. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. The reason they pulled COVID, I mean, it was a multi-bird hitting stone they threw. They knew it was going to help them with the election. They knew it was going to help them continue to grab resources and power and control. But also, they needed to get on their horse with that because they realized how close we are to the disaster. And that was absolutely part of the plan there. Jimmy Joe, thank you for the teal pair. Love it. Is the induction current able to be deflected, drawn away, weakened, such as a lightning bolt is drawn away from other things by a lightning rod? No, the induced current, I mean, unless you're literally going to just lock yourself up in a plastic bin or a rubber container, and it would have to be airtight, like you're going to risk suffocating. You don't really need to be as afraid of those induced electric currents. If your body is weak, you can't hide from all of this energy anyway. It's much better just to make sure you're the strongest version of yourself that you can be, which means get your diet in order, exercise, stop drinking, stop doing drugs, heal your traumas, meditate, that kind of stuff. Dumpster diving dragons, hello. Living near the ocean, survival chances on a boat. Better than without one, buddy. I mean, I realize a lot of you guys can't move and you're in flood zones. Have something that floats, but don't go with an inflatable one. Just remember what the footage looked like from the Sumatra tsunami or the Japan tsunami. It's not just going to be water. It's going to be rocks, trees, shards of plastic, metal, wood. There's going to be cars, houses, people. Not something inflatable. Boy, the sun is just glowing me up here. Look at that. Hello, Mr. Sunshine. Sunshine eavesdropping on the quote salt-free podcast. Melanie George, thank you for the teal pair. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Are you carnivore? Yeah, I am. My thoughts on Nibiru? No, not real. About 70,000 years ago, a binary red star system that probably had planets with it came through. It is called Shoals Star Red Binary. We can see it now. It's like 17 light years away and actually moving further away from us. It is a hypervelocity star. But it was so devastating when it came through the solar system about 72,000 years ago that the ancients, every time there was a disaster subsequent to that, they just blamed it on the crossing red planet. The last time anything came through our solar system was 72,000 years ago. And there's nothing coming now. We do see pretty well. And for all of the energetic changes we see throughout the entire solar system, there's not one moon out of place. No gravitational anomalies at all. I was as entranced by the Nibiru story as anyone. I thought it was beautiful, magical. It surged my imagination like probably almost nothing else has since I started all of this. But there is zero actual evidence that that is the deal right now. Have you made any response to Kevin Jameson? I don't know who that is. Physicist, crustal displacement hoax. He agrees with you in general, but thinks there's not enough energy to dislodge the crust from the mantle. Oh, he thinks. Has he gone and redone the math that Hapgood, that Einstein, and those several dozen other scientists did back in the 40s that proved if you could unlock the crust from the mantle, that the ice weight at the poles would turn the planet over because the greatest weight in homogeneity wants to spin at the point of greatest centrifugal force, basic physics principle. Has he gone back and done that? I don't know if he's done that because I don't know who that is. But no, I haven't made a response and I won't because I have no idea who that is or what they're talking about. So this question, you trust NASA? Question mark. I don't trust anybody, but I'm also very good at knowing very, very good at knowing what's BS and what's not. And I ignore about 95% of the stuff NASA puts out. I can tell when it's nonsense and when it's not. Furthermore, it is not like all, 200,000 employees and contractors working for NASA are in on some secret scheme. There are some good people. There are some good scientists there. A bunch of them have my books. Anyway, in Canada, the strata alternates between tropical and Arctic cycle as reported by Major White. Are there any papers that support those findings? I have not seen a paper, and I don't think they would let something like that go through. I mean, I can tell you from my attempts at publishing work on solar physics, climate science, and catastrophism, they have serious gatekeeping for those journals. And that's been going on for like 80 years, unfortunately. What do you make of the lack of stone megalithic ruins in North America and Canada? No grand civilizations ever prospered there. Why do you think? I don't know about that. I think that a lot of them may have been buried. North America took the brunt of the Gothenburg event 12,000 years ago. Don't forget, I think that the Texas rock wall is a damn impressive megalithic ruin. And there are actually a couple others as well. I don't know if it's in Montana or the Dakotas. I saw folks on Twitter going over this, including Jimmy Corsetti. There's some ridiculous stonework up there, huge stonework. I forget what it's called. Forgive me. I haven't dug into this one, but I wouldn't say that there hasn't been any. I'd say that a lot of it is covered up or was destroyed. The Sun heard you talking about its plan for a mini pop. It got interested. Denver sucks with teeth. Oh, toothy head. We're back to this again. Jeez. Barbarian, hello. Thank you for the teal pair. Chad says, do you think we will see appearance of new mutated species after the micronova like Robert Felix pondered? Rest in peace, my friend. Yeah, I think he was right about that. All right, that sun is really going to be annoying. It's going to be like in my face. All right, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm going to go stop this right here. Ow. Oh, that's going to be so much better. That's going to be so much better. Welcome back. All right. Ben, how do I tell my parents pole shift is going to happen within the next 20 years so they don't worry about retirement? Well, number one, do not talk about Fight Club. I've seen people lose spouses, lose family, lose friends over this. My mother, my father, my sister, sleepwalking through life. Don't want to hear a word about this. They're all jabbed. Now my dad has cancer. Hairy cell leukemia. I had never even heard of hairy cell leukemia. Thanks, Moderna. But anyway. Get righteous. Thank you. Ben, think people are being called out of Babylon? I have no idea. It's an interesting thought, though. Elizabeth, thank you for the teal pair. Carnivore 100% explains your equatorial pecs. Cheers. I'm not gonna lie. Pecs are pretty righteous over here. Do we think we will see the appearance? Oh, I got to that one already. And whoever told me I missed some, thank you, because I didn't realize I had missed some. But genuinely, thank you. How old is my dad? My dad is going to be turning 70 in May. I mean, he's not a spring chicken, but all right, let's see. I'm searching for a question amidst all of the comments about my dad, and I appreciate that very much. Magnetars, question mark, are these qualified as a Leo to surface piezo occurring throughout these future kill shot turmoil? I'm not sure I understand what you wrote there, Triple T, but yeah, I think that when the micronova shell hits, it's going to compress those magnetic fields down close to Earth's surface while also juicing them the hell up. And I do think we'll get some cosmic thunderbolts straight downward. I don't know if necessarily piezoelectricity is where we would go with that. That's more like a discharge along the path of least resistance. But yeah, in general, the answer to your question is C. Wormwood in Revelation, CME or meteor? Micronova and the impactors triggered from it. Don't forget, impactors are part of the micronova process. That shell that gets blasted off the sun, that pelts everything in the solar system. The electric universe draws arrows to simulate motion for its dynamic plasma. So what are those negatives and positives in physical terms? The sun, volcanoes, our blood, DNA, plasma is in all of them. Creative Mystic, that was a really cool post. I'm not entirely sure if it could be thought of in terms of negatives and positives. Maybe anode, cathode, capacitance, discharge, conductor, insulator. I don't know if that helps at all, but if that doesn't help, you're going to just have to take my cool compliment and leave it at that. Could the Carrington event given a boost to the pole shift moving as it started speeding up not long after that, or was it a timing coincidence? So I think it is my absolute opinion that was the arrival of the galactic current sheet. Don't forget that they know how tall the waves are. They know that it is tens of light years thick, but it's only at that central point that the galactic magnetic reversal happens. The excursion peaks, the solar micronova. I think that when the outside of the wave first impacted our solar system, it triggered the beginning of Earth's magnetic excursion, the magnetic pole shift moving, and it triggered the Carrington event on the sun. It is too much of a coincidence that the pole shift on Earth and the Carrington event happened and began, the pole shift began and the Carrington event happened in the exact same year. That's too much for me to just be like, oh, what a fun coincidence. So I don't know if that answers your question, Sirlock, but well done. That's a legit comment / question. All right. Ben, please rally all the women to save the earth. Yeah, ladies, are you doing your part? Keep those polls in check, okay? They deserve attention. We can't sleep on this right now. It's up to you. Where do you think the polls were during the last cycle? Pretty darn close to where they're going to be. I think that the Bermuda Triangle and the Dragons Triangle are excellent contenders. I'm not saying those are the only ones. I don't know of two things that make sense just quick off the top of my head. The Bermuda Triangle and the Dragons Triangle. Most of you know what the Bermuda Triangle is. If you don't know, there's another one. It's called the Dragons Triangle, and it's over in the far west Pacific um, you know, off the coast of Asia, more like off the coast of those islands that are in the Pacific. Um, but yeah, I would say if I had to guess, and it is a guess, those would be. What is the galactic current sheet? Dude. Edward Kemps, I don't wish to be rude, but honestly, if you're going to ask questions, you have to do the homework. There's tens of thousands of people. Yeah, I know there's only 1,500 people watching right now, but by this time, 24 hours from now, tens of thousands of people will have watched this. Most of them have done the homework. We can't be wasting their time. These are linked right below the video in the description box. Please watch them. To watch both of these videos will take less than 40 minutes, and you will have 99.99% of your questions answered. You will know more about the disaster cycle than 99.99% of people on the planet. I beg of you, do that homework, my friend. How was that for avoiding salt? Will the aquifers heat up and steam out? I'm going to answer this very, very simply. Yes, the waters below will come forth. Pretty sure of that one. Eres Inamorta. Hello, and thank you. Alan Ray Tudyk should play you in the Suspicious Observer cyclical disaster Hollywood blockbuster movie, hit movie when you decide to make it. ATB, thank you. I have absolutely no idea who that is, and I would say the chances of me making anything for Hollywood are about zero, but you are appreciated. Mama Sap, that is a hell of a comment. I'm not going to mention it out loud, but that is a hell of a comment right there. Will our orbital position change after the flip? I'm going to guess no. What I can say is that, Earth has gone through this many, many times. And in every sediment layer, there is not only ample evidence for life, but that the climatic conditions were very, very similar to what they were now. Yeah, it may have been a little bit cooler in a glacial cycle, may have been a little hotter when you look back, even further. But in general, Earth is always in this area where our interaction with the sun makes the world more or less what we see it is today. So I want to have to say no on that orbital position change. I know what Doug Vogt said, but Doug and I didn't agree on that. Ben is way more jacked than Alan Tudyk. I have no idea who that is. I have absolutely no idea. I'm going to have to look that person up. Somebody just say Rob Schneider is my clone. That dude is at least 20 years older than me. What are you talking? All right, somebody's telling me to scroll up. Sundial question. Where am I supposed to look? There's literally 1,000 comments on here. I'm not going to go looking for... No. Where specifically are we located within the galactic current sheet? I watched all the vids I could find. Okay, Pastor Scott. So let's say this is the current sheet coming, and my head is the solar system. Okay, I'll make it a little wider. All right, so 1859, getting pretty close to that center mark. Right in the center, that's where the galactic magnetic reversal point is. We know we haven't hit that yet. So we're probably just a little ways off of that. We're definitely in the thick of it. There's no question about that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing all the extra energetic particles, the neutral particles, the extra dust from the sun's atmosphere all the way out past Pluto. We wouldn't be seeing these magnetic impacts from the sun all the way out to Pluto. Yeah, we're in the thick of the current sheet at the moment. Aloha, Ben. Would the supernova of Betelgeuse have any effect on the galactic sheet of our sun? In the galactic sheet or our sun? One, no, it would not. It is way too far away. And two, it is not going to go supernova. It had its micronova, a dust production event, which is a type of micronova. That's what that thing that happened to it was. It had a dust production micronova, something that I think is actually pretty darn close to what our sun is going to do. And no, it is way too far away to have any significant effect on us. Creative Mystic again, do you think the elites have technology to try to harness the energy of the big one? Also, the only unvaccinated one in my family, God bless you, have a few peeps with cancer now too. Sorry to hear that, Creative Mystic. I don't know if they have that kind of technology. What's interesting is when you realize how much they want to control the world and control power. You have to realize that if they had that level of technology, they would have just brought it out already. We would be able to do nothing to stop it. Like they would literally have all of their goals check, check, check in a day, and we couldn't do anything about it. And so either they don't have it or they do have it, and their intentions aren't exactly what most of us think they are, myself included. I tend to think that the people up at the top are pretty darn evil. It is possible that a trap is being set for the evil people who think they're in charge of this planet. I know a lot of you guys probably don't think that way, but it is, of course, possible that something like that is what's going on. And things like what's happening in the United States, maybe they want to see us wake up. They want to see us take back the country. They want to see us take back the world. You guys see what's happening in Europe? How many different countries are in on those farmers' protests right now? Maybe they want us to stop being what we've been since good times started creating weak men. I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'm just saying if you are dead set, no, it is strictly one. It is strict. It's all evil. It's all. You don't know that because I see a lot of evidence to suggest that, well, they don't necessarily have all of their ducks in a row. And all of the evidence that's presented could actually go away. Anyway, Creative Mystic, you really set me off on quite the tangent there, didn't you? Thank you. Mark says, still new, but congrats. You look a lot healthier than 6, 5, 4, 3 years ago. Yeah, I am a lot healthier than I was those years ago. Can you please explain the discrepancy in the KP9 alerts last night? I'm trying to understand the alerts better, so I'd appreciate it. I have actually no idea what you're talking about there. Were there KP9 alerts last night? See the solar flare alert. I don't see anything like that from last night. At least not on the disaster prediction app, aka the Carrington app. Where were you seeing those? There was certainly no KP9 event last night. All right, scrolling. What are your thoughts on any effect the equatorial bulge may or may not have on the land masses traveling through it? It's an interesting question. I really don't know. As the Earth starts to tilt, does the bulge stay like that until the tilt is over and then it reorients? Does the bulge move as the tilting is going on? These are the kinds of things we can't answer. Steve, that is a very good question. Unfortunately, I'll have to plead ignorance and say, I don't know. Rob Schneider is only 60. Fine, he's 21 years older than me. But I doubt he eats a proper human diet. Still looks good, though. Humor is healing in itself. Fasting and food does wonders to stave off the ill effects of the Wu flu. Okay, right on. Observer since 2013, SOOG. Thank you for all the education. As the Earth's magnetic field strength weakens, will the Earth-facing quiet phenomena follow suit? I actually don't know. I don't think that it has anything to do with Earth's magnetic field. Remember, this happened 400 years ago when Earth's magnetic field was strong and there was not a magnetic pole shift ongoing. And I would imagine the Earth-facing quiet happens during every grand solar minimum. So that would include the Spore minimum, all the ones back before it as well. So I really don't think that Earth's magnetic field is related to the Earth-facing solar quiet. It's still a mystery. ATB says, I 100% believe a trap is being set and that the clot shot was an entry-level IQ test. It's very possible, but that would be a trap laid for the common people, us. I still think it's possible that something we don't understand is setting a trap for the people in power on this planet. Don't I'm not saying put all your eggs in that basket, but don't write it off or lose hope on that one. What will the gravitational effects on the moon be, if any, distance or position, and maybe other planets in our solar system? Again, can't answer that. A long time ago, I read something interesting from Ed Leeds-Skounen. I have all of his writings. If you don't know who Ed Leeds-Skounen is, he's the guy who made Coral Castle. He thinks that during the magnetic flip, the moon will come half the distance to the Earth and then quickly move back out. No way to really know. No way to really know. I respect the question a great deal, but again, that's one we just can't know. JC Warlock. Making a comment about Noah, the Enlil spiral, and other things like that. It could be connected. I also know that the people at NOAA, NASA, and other places like that, they just love throwing those names out on things, those ancient names. It could be connected. It might not be. I don't have any evidence to suggest one way or the other. Eyes on the World, thank you for the teal pair. Appreciate that. Soul Lounger, holy cow. So I gave some thought after the There's a throwback to the last live stream. So I gave some thought after the concubine suggestion. I realized what's really needed for the soul survivors is the knowledge of a doula. Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. All women should learn how to assist birth in the life of the aftermath. Kat, the queen, would have a team of doula to help through the pregnancy. Wink, wink. Yeah, she still says no more kids. Thanks for the book. Lots of info and easy to read. You're very welcome, Malachi. Appreciate that. Sue Erickson, thank you for the teal pair. Makes me happy. Makes me smile. While I'm waiting for the next super chat to come in, I will say this. I saw something on X, formerly known as Twitter, the other day, talking about it's too late to wake people up. Stop trying. The board is set and the pieces are moving, if I may quote Gandalf. And really, it's true. It's true. There's no point in trying to wake people up anymore. Does that mean that nobody else is going to wake up? No, it's not what that means. But it means that the chances of new people waking up at this point are far reduced. People are very dead set on these things. They've picked their side, and it's really going to take a lot, probably a lot more than you trying to cram something down their throat to get them to, quote, wake up. So it's sad, but true. Rule number 1, do not talk about Fight Club. It's a shame. You are a porcupine in a comfort bubble world. That might be one of the coolest things I've ever read. Brad writes, Colorado sucks. Yes, Denver is skewing the thing for the whole state. Please acknowledge. And I don't know if you guys saw this. Colorado is thinking about legalizing raw milk. I mean, if you're not aware, raw milk is amazing. And if you can get raw A2 milk, whew, feels like drinking life. Number of people waking up almost parodies ancient populations. Yes, it does. Good comment. Scroll too far. Mind, body, home, a flying teal pear, a flying superhero teal pear. I love it. Do you guys know I get emails all the time saying, Ben, what is a teal pear? What am I missing? It's the only part of everything you discuss and teach that I can't grasp. Please let me in. Tell me what a teal pear is. Talked to John Mallory lately? Question mark. I saw him commenting a couple days ago. Hope he's all right. I don't have any reason to think otherwise, but follow-up message 219 real-time KP9 G5 storm warning +2 earlier saying the same. I don't have those warnings, Mark. I don't know what that was. But I can assure you the KP index is, we're not even in the minor storm level conditions. So I'm not sure what that was. I don't have it in my alert list. Yeah. We've now started a raw milk chatathon here. All right, let's cut that off. Let's go back to Denver Sucks in the chat. You are on to something, IS. JD Lives, JD Lives, however you like to pronounce your name. Yeah, I'd like to think I'm onto a little something. One or two things. Yeah, there we go. No, I haven't done the raw egg thing yet. I have not done the raw egg thing. I've actually recently switched out from the bulking phase to a mini cut. We're going to be doing a mini cut for about the next month. And all the protein I was getting from eggs is switching to fish. I'm going to get slightly more protein, but it's actually going to be less calories and less fat. That's literally the only change I'm making going from this bulk phase to the cut phase. For those lifters out there, I'm sure you're well aware, the most annoying part of the bulk phase is when you can't see your abs like you could before. Yeah, so that's pissing me off. So we're gonna get that back here. Anyway, what a tangent. Hey Ben, have you seen the play Perfect Town? You're asking me if I've been to the theater? It is the best line. I am a sex offender from Denver. This is the perfect town. That tracks right. Yeah, Denver sucks in all ways imaginable. But no, I haven't been to the theater in many moon. 'Twas many moon ago that I was at the theater. JC Warlock, that's a good one. Greg Lander, was Beetlejuice triggered by the galactic sheet? There's no way of knowing. Yes, that is a completely valid way to trigger a star, but it's not the only one. There's lots of ways you can trigger these stars to go boom. And so there's really no way of knowing. Man, you guys are saying you want salt. Don't eat raw fish. I didn't say I was eating raw fish. I'm not eating raw eggs. I drink raw milk. Yes. I don't eat raw steak. I cook my steak. Not well done. Why was the Carrington event so bright? I don't know if there's a whole lot of evidence that it actually was brighter. It was just more energetically powerful. Barbarian says she's in Maui and eating raw fish every day. All right, well, if it's sushi, that's one thing. But sushi grade fish is not the same as every fish you're going to buy somewhere. All right, I'm starting to see people throw out workout advice here. Yeah, post physique or I don't want to hear it. I'm not taking my shirt off, but like if you don't have Like if you're not jacked, like don't tell jacked people what they should be doing or that they're doing something wrong. Please hypothesize about metals during the event: metal roofs, dental fillings, sprinkler systems, etc. Wrapping everything in plastic or rubber. I know it's a guess. Your guess is better than mine. Metal roofs, those are going to be bad. Sprinkler systems, those are probably going to be a little rough. Although, I mean, if they're full of water, what are they going to catch fire? In terms of the dental fillings or other metal in your body, I have to once again go back to the fact that just like the sun's magnetic field goes out past Pluto and the Earth's magnetic field wraps around the whole planet, you have your own energy field. Just do it. And you guys remember the videos I did on the body energy field a couple months ago? You have your own energy field that will protect you if it's strong. Drinking, drugs, shitty diet, not exercising, having a bad mental game. All those things reduce your frequency. Fix your diet. Stop poisoning yourself. Exercise. Heal your traumas. Meditate. And yes, prayer helps as well. Absolutely. No question about it. That's my only advice for that. Strengthen your body's energy field. Rely on you. And believe me. Believe it in yourself. That confidence strengthens your field. Use your Care Bear power. Oh, my Lanta. What a comment from Mama Sap. I mean, more or less, yeah. Yeah. Whew. What about HAARP? It's a joke. HAARP is a complete joke. Please don't fall for something that had a book, TV show, actor/politician, super trustworthy, coming out and telling you, here's your enemy on a silver platter. Go scream about it on the internet. Duh. All that happened in 90 days. And so many people on the internet was like, oh, yeah, this must be some huge government secret, even though an actor/politician is telling me about it on TV. And I've got these books on it. And we have these insider whistleblowers risking their lives to give talks to thousands of people. And they're still alive today for the most part. Don't fall for that shit. HAARP is a joke. Someone said great lib voice. First of all, that was not a lib voice. That was my Jesse Ventura voice. My lib voice is something a little closer to this, and there's some like limp wrist stuff going on. I don't have the hair dye, and I'm not 60 miles north up in Denver, but like this would be my lib voice. Okay, and also don't misgender me, okay? Fucking hell. Look at all this. You guys think that's funny. Oy, oy, oy. Did you and David Dubine have a collab before? About 10 years ago on Fly on the Wall. Iswari Bahamas, thank you for the flying teal pair. Appreciate that. Someone said I should do the morning news in my lib voice. I don't think so. I don't think so. Ixnay. You need a fake eyebrow ring for when you... Yeah, and then I would also need to paint my fingernails. If there are 9 alternating layers in the Arctic, there's probably a lot more than that. That's just all they dug up. Wouldn't that suggest the tilts began in recent past? What might have caused it to start? Exploded planet. So don't forget, this was in the 1940s, and they weren't planning on digging. They just decided, hey, we're up here. and we notice the magnetic pole appears to be moving. Let's dig down and see what we can find. It's not like they had tons of like they went down as far as they could. Okay. I'm thinking there's a lot more layers than that. You think gurus will have a better chance of survival? Depends what they're a guru in. JC Warlock says, yes, ma'am. I don't know to what that is referring, but let's just go with it. HAARP is how the Navy communicates with submarines in the ocean? No, it's not. No, it's not. Who is putting this bullshit out there? You know, you're gonna make me risk the salt-free aspect of this podcast. HAARP is a joke. It is not how you communicate with submarines in the ocean. That doesn't even make sense. All right? You're talking to somebody who understands the math and the physics of that machine, what it can and can't do. Somebody who, when they announced they were turning it on full power, somebody who was watching all the ionosondes, all the radiosondes, the critical frequency of the ionosphere data, was watching everything. It was visible. When they turn it on half power, it's visible on everything. And do you know what happens to the weather? Absolutely nothing. It's a joke. But since they put so much money into it and they were like, oh man, this is a huge embarrassing failure of a machine. What are we going to do with it? Oh, I know. Let's twist the truth, put it out on the internet, and let's trick all these people who have the eyes to see into thinking it's something. That way we can distract them from reality while making them look like morons to the rest of the world so nobody listens to them. And you fell for it. HAARP is a joke. Stop it. If I have any mods here, you see somebody talking about HAARP again, just snipe their ass. All right. Desalinate. Desalinate. Did Noah eat the last giant sloth? What? I'm going to go with yes. Susie Rose Finley, something about Vikings, I'm sure. Thank you, Ben. I'm working on getting jacked again. Lots of paddling around. Lots of patting around the muscle, doing more push-ups than I've ever done before. Doing carnivore diet, love it, live like a Viking. There it is. Thank you, Susie. Appreciate that. When I see her jump in there, it's I always know there's going to be the word Viking in there somewhere. Barbarian says, love you guys. I'm going down to Mala, the last restaurant in Lahaina, to see how close I can get to Ground Zero. I'll rewatch later. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Barb. Appreciate you so much. Guys, I actually got to meet Barb in Arizona at Lisa's event. That was awesome. Still waiting to hear your non-binary voice, Ben, if that exists. All right, so that was my non-binary voice, my non-binary / queer voice. I don't have another one. And no, I'm not going to do it again. Ha! Noah Hawkins. Well played. Soul Lounger, when do we expect all the satellites falling? At the latest during the solar micronova, at the earliest if the sun puts out, a Carrington level blast. I don't think that just the decreasing magnetic field is going to be enough to do that. Starting carnivore diet tips: steak, eggs, chicken, fish, butter. If you find yourself lacking in fiber, throw in an avocado. Its carb load is minimal. It is offset by the fiber, and it's got a bunch of great fats, and it's got protein. Yeah, I would say my diet is heavily steak, eggs, fish, shrimp, followed by butter. And underneath that, chicken, avocado. I'll have some blueberries every now and again, especially on a bulk, but I won't be having blueberries for the next month. When sun's magnetic field reverse? Not a question. Shitty grammar. And third, Jay, I talked about that already in this video. Do not jump in an hour into the video and just start asking questions. Ben, are you suggesting there is no weather modification resulting from the Navy? I'm suggesting HAARP is a complete joke. I have said this many times before. Cloud seeding is 4% effective. Stratospheric aerosol injection, also known as chemtrails, which is not the same thing as cloud seeding, is about 0.1% effective. Here's what you need to remember. I do not like it. I do not think they should be playing God in the sky. 2, these things have hang time of at least 2 years. They're going around the world multiple times. They are spraying themselves. They are spraying their own children, and they know it is a calculated risk, and it is not poison, at least not to the point where you need to be worried about it. Other thing, Earth is the least changing sphere in our entire solar system. Why is that? Oh, possibly because we have the strongest relative magnetic field, but also because they are trying to keep the game going and stay on top of the pyramid. And for any of you out there thinking, oh, wait a minute, is Ben just saying we're benefiting from it? Yeah, indirectly, we are benefiting a little bit from it. But the purpose is to keep them on the top of the pyramid so they can keep this game going and steal more money and steal more resources and gain more power and control. Ben, are you saying, you know what? When I hear something, whenever I see hey, wait, are you saying, I just know something fucking stupid is coming right after that. Wait, are you, shut up. And now I'm salty. Dumbass. Stormy, start sniping people who ask dumb shit about weather modification. Oh. Yeah, there's the salty. There's the salty. Almost made it a whole hour. But this is the internet, where the SOOGs who've done all the homework and know all their shit have to mix and intermingle with morons who showed up here yesterday and who believe everything else they see on the internet simply because it's against the mainstream. Let me tell you guys something. There is nothing in this community I don't see. Nothing. If it's real, if it's material, I talk about it. And over half of the shit that you are seeing, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitter, talking about stuff, was put specifically by those people in power into our community to distract us and to make us seem stupid to the rest of the world. Heck, Geoengineering Watch is a CIA website. If I ever see Dane in real life, I'm going to smack the bejesus out of him. Don't fall for nonsense. And if you can't understand the math, the chemistry, and the physics of it, just facilitator of fun. That's a cool name. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate all you do. I appreciate that. And just pooped on a lot of people's salad here. I'm not sure how much they appreciate it. Didn't learn any composure in your martial arts training. Come say that to my face, Doug. Scrolling. Solar activity cures my depression. That's nice. The Earth-facing solar quiet makes me rely on your salt as an alternative. In the meantime, salt for the salt goods. Salt gods. I like that. The salt gods. Yeah, all right, Doug, that's what it is. I'm making a sacrifice to the salt gods. Ugh, commercial. If the Sumerians report witnessing a couple of Earth processions, but no 90... How do you know what the Sumerians witnessed? What we know from them is like taken from like several broken tablets. It's a miracle they were able to tell that they have a story about the flood. And what do you think caused that flood? Don't forget, Utnapishtim, or whatever his name is the same character as Noah. And in the book of Enoch, chapter 65, And Noah saw the earth turned over and knew its destruction was near. Jiminy Christmas. All right, we've been here for an hour. The Magnetic Reversal News YouTube channel is shit. Sorry, JCOM3030. Their entire channel is a combination of either copying other people or blowing shit out of proportion. Anyway. All right, guys. Teresa. Water has been here on Earth the entire time. I'm not saying Tiamat's not real. I'm not saying that it didn't explode and deliver water throughout the solar system, but water has in fact been here the entire time as well. All right, guys. This has been fun. This has been fun. Rue says, are off-course migrating animals just finding the new paths to survive? Can we learn from that? I wouldn't try to do that, considering the fact that they're likely to change several more times as the Earth's magnetic field is changing. You don't want to. First of all, we don't know that their adjustments are good adjustments or if they're just lost as shit. They might just be lost. But if they're not lost and they're readjusting, you don't want to go adjusting yourself to whatever adjustment is being made 25 to 30% of the way through the thing, maybe afterwards. All right, guys, no more super chats. Has anyone tested a DC electromagnetic field to defend agent against induction? Maybe try a overpowered inducing field in a weak DC. It might be a fun experiment, but what are you gonna do? Put one around your whole house? You're gonna sit with it in your lap? It's gonna do more damage over a long period than it will any good. When you're actually gonna need it, there will be no electricity to power the damn thing. And again, dark cookies. Rely on your field, not technology. Glad you're all listening about the no more super chats. Hey, Ben, having some delays in Idaho. I may just go ahead and mail you those books for your library. I'm going to go throw in a few of my own collections and maybe some maps. That sounds awesome. Thank you, my friend, Adventure Hawk. I'd smack Doug for you. Denver sucks. Live like a Viking. Right on. She's talking about the Doug in the comment section, not Doug vote, by the way. The Earth isn't a perfect sphere. How might this affect the... All right, so here's what you need to know. No, it is not a perfect sphere, but that white cue ball on a pool table is less of a perfect sphere than the Earth. Fact. Just because through high precision geodesy, we can detect that there is a bulge at the equator, it is infinitesimally small. And the Earth is, in fact, more of a sphere than a cue ball on a pool table. Fact. All right, everyone. This has been fun and mostly salt-free. Again, if you missed the part earlier in the show, we're going over all the stuff we usually go over, including an interesting bit on the South Atlantic anomaly. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have a video on climate science as well. Be sure to tune into that. And I will see you guys in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.